Here's your dice that you never take home.
Oh, those are the community dice from Cody's house. Wow. You've had these for like 6 years.
I've tried to give them to you 60 times.
These are 6 years. I'm going to set it right here and not take it with me.
Probably. That's what happened last time.
Oh, wow. Good times. Good times.
And we're live.
Good morning, good afternoon, geeks and gamers of all kinds. I am Shill, and I am joined with
Mike Bundy.
And we are so happy that you have decided to join us on another episode of Geek Tavern Radio. Man, I gotta say, it's so exciting to get together and podcast weekly. You know, this is a new thing for us. Mike and I have been doing it over Discord with Bud, with Dax. You see that he changed his Twitter handle, by the way?
I have not seen.
Yeah, Dax changed his Twitter handle. He's no longer at Dax Hastings. He is Dax I Munder.
What?
Yeah, I don't understand what it means. We'll have to ask him when he joins us again.
All right.
He's been going through some stuff.
Some identity crises.
Yeah, he doesn't know who he is anymore. So, Dax changed his Twitter handle for all of you guys out there. You know, so if you see this weird guy tweeting in your Twitter feed, it's definitely the same guy. It's just a different handle.
Yeah.
Dax I Munder.
I used to have an awesome Twitter handle, and then I lost my password.
Oh. Yeah, that certainly happened.
I was at I am Mike Bundy, and that was it. Like, I copied Chris Jericho, and now I can't sign into that one.
Oh, man.
So, we're excited to be here. We got quite a bit of topics today.
Right, we're going to try to power through them.
Yep.
We've got some really cool stuff, and some not-so-cool stuff that I really want to talk about. First, I have to say that No Man's Sky is back in the news, and this is a pretty positive thing. So, No Man's Sky got their release date for Xbox One. They're coming on June 29th this year, right?
Well, it was leaked.
Oh, it was leaked. They haven't officially announced it, but so it could end up adjusting a week or two or whatever,
right?
Just to move the leak or falsify the leak. But I have to say, and the question I have with it is: this going to be the full updated game that came out on PS4 later, or are they releasing the initial package on Xbox One?
Yeah, no, this is the fully up to date. From what I understand, I haven't played this game in a very, very long time. I still have it on PS4, but I've been told that, like, the changes they made after the initial release, like, it became a really good game. You know, a lot of the stuff that they promised with this game just never happened. Like, you can't see people that are also playing. People, tried to meet up because you can have you can find the right coordinates and be in the same place at the same time.
Okay.
But you can't see each other. People have tried.
That's so disappointing.
It is really disappointing. But at the same time, like, this game just gives you an awesome feeling of, space exploration. I don't know. It's still really cool to me. That's why I've never got rid of it.
Yeah.
And someday I hope to, pop it in again. And really, I should start a new game, because I heard if you start a new game with the new updated version, it's better to get into.
Okay.
Because they actually put a story to it.
Yeah, I heard that. When they did that, I looked into picking it up, but I never committed.
Yeah.
And then shortly after that, my PlayStation.
And it's all free. Like, all the updates have been free. There's no paywall or anything like that. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see it's coming. Exploration games like this and then Minecraft, right? Like, there were times on Minecraft where I would just explore for an hour. Right?
Dig down for 3 hours.
Yeah, just dig straight down, fall into lava, die, lose all your stuff.
Oh, no, not straight down. I'm, like, super OCD about it. I dig, like, steps.
Oh, okay.
Like...
All right.
So...
You know, this is
so I can get back out. I have, like, cave systems.
Yeah.
That I build myself. Like, I'm pretty OCD about it. But
well, I just learned a really... it's so crazy, because I don't Minecraft hard like some people
I
do.
haven't in a while.
But the last time I really got into it, I learned a mining technique where you go every third wall, like every third block, you mine, because you see all of the blocks, right? So you do that third wall, and then go 1, 2, and then 3. On the third one, you mine in, and you build like this big tunnel system where you just go straight through each one, and you see every single block that you're mining.
Huh.
Yeah, it was a super great idea, and we're getting off topic because exploration games and super fun. But another exploration game that is getting another big update, Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
right? I'm not too familiar with this franchise either.
I haven't been other than this game.
Okay.
Me, my brother, and Bo, we all have it on PS4. So, we play here and there. It's been a while since we have. Pretty much just scheduling issues. With me starting my new job, hard to find a day where me and my brother are both off. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they're adding a 16-player Elder Dragon hunt.
It's like a raid. It sounds like a raid to me.
Basically, it's a type of raid. Obviously, you're going to need most of the 16 players to actually take down the Elder Dragon, because it's an Elder Dragon. Like, those words in that game means it's like a boss.
Yeah, like the biggest that you could fight.
Yeah, so essentially, in Destiny terms, it's a raid.
Yeah.
So yeah,
WoW terms too.
Or
like
WoW terms.
WoW, I think the raid size in WoW is 40.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not 100%.
No pun
certain.
intended.
Yeah, but I think that the raid size there is 40. I know some other games have some raids that are like 30 to 20 players or something. So that's super cool. They're probably limited from the console a little bit on the player size that they can have. Like, how big's the party size on PlayStation?
Like 8, I think.
Oh, really? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So they're going to be...
Maybe you can have 16. Or maybe in game chat, you can probably have 16, I would imagine.
Well, that's when
game chat...
Warzone in Halo came out, Halo 5. Warzone had, I think, was it 24 versus 24 players, or was it 12 versus 12? Or 16 versus 16?
It might have been 16 to 16. That sounds familiar.
Okay. Well, either way, whenever Warzone and Halo 5 came out...
Great mode, by the way.
Yeah, I really liked it too. Yeah. But whenever it came out, they updated Party Chat to accommodate the player size of a team for Warzone. It was exactly like it came out hand in hand. Right. So, this could be a possibility. Maybe PlayStation's going to up their Party Chat to 16 players. They would be both.
Well, maybe Xbox already has the 16, like we're saying, because it's also an Xbox. It's on both consoles. And PC, I believe.
Yeah, they wouldn't have any problem because they just use something like Discord.
Yeah. But, small Discord plug.
We like you.
Yeah. Gamers out there, use Discord.
Yeah, we have a Discord. Talk with us.
Oh, yeah.
Be engaged.
Yep.
We'll plug it more later. But, so it's super cool that these big things, and I mentioned Halo, so it might not be just as good a time as any to dive into the update that's coming for the Master Chief Collection. They want to add a graphics update for the Xbox One S, or One X, my apologies.
One XS5.
Yeah, the One XS5. Seriously, like, it's so confusing, and they shouldn't have tried to go the Apple and Samsung route, because, like, it's so crazy to try to communicate what phone you have, and then the Xbox is like, Xbox One S, X, S, 5, 6,
and
10.
Aside from, like, the gamers themselves. It's confusing enough for us. Imagine those clueless parents that are trying to figure out for the holiday season, not that it's holiday season, but birthdays, whatever.
Yep.
They're like, what?
What's the difference?
What do I need? Why is this
realistically?
Why is this one $500 and this one's $200?
Right.
So
anyway, they're getting the graphics update for the Xbox One X, and that it's also being said that they're going to fix the multiplayer online matchmaking for the Master Chief Collection.
I think it was one specific mode. I think it was like Halo 2 Team Slayer or something that like specifically doesn't work well.
Oh, really?
Something like that. But
that's the most fun one, right? Like, and we go back and forth on this because we have so many memories. Just sitting around playing Halo.
3.
Yeah, 3 is perfect. It's the perfect multiplayer game. But Halo 2 is just so much fun because of how broken it could get. Right? Like, you pick up 2 needlers and you're just blasting at people.
Yeah.
It's just so unbelievably broken. But
the needler itself is just way too powerful anyway.
Yeah.
Mostly.
I disagree. But you can never find ammo for the thing.
Well, that's true. I'll give you that. Yep.
So, the 3 kills that you might get with it, you're just out of ammo after.
Well, that's the thing. I get my couple kills with it and I just throw it away. I don't try to keep it. But
yeah. But Halo 3 was perfect in the balancing, and they really fixed some of the issues that 2 had. It all comes down to one compound word that we made famous in our own right, called roller dicks. I forgot about Roller Halo. Oh my goodness! So we used to do this funny thing that we had a game mode where what was the name of the level? Sandbox or
Sandbox? I think Sandbox or Sand Trap.
Yeah. So we would turn on maximum speeds, like maximum movement speed, and we would turn on one-shot kills, right? And then we would lock everyone into having only the Magnum and the beam sword.
That's right.
Right? So we never did quite figure out how to get the 2 points for killing someone with the beam sword. Right? Because we always wanted to do that. Yeah. Because it was so difficult to hit somebody with it. Like there was so many times.
You'd always clang them together.
Yeah.
Like you'd hit each other at the same time with the beam swords, so they would cancel each other out.
Yep. But those one-shot kills made it so difficult to actually hit somebody, and we made it so that we had infinite ammo. Yeah. I don't think infinite clip was on that game.
No, it was just infinite
ammo. So you had to always reload.
Yeah.
But it was just so cool. That
was a scary couple seconds when you're trying to reload.
I know, especially because you're in that ravine dancing around with people and just trying to die and trying not to die,
and then jumping from the over the ravine, like from the one building to the other building. Yeah, we need to play that.
So yeah, I really genuinely hope that they fix the matchmaking issues that they're having with the Master Chief Collection, because it's such a cool game. Right?
That collection's awesome.
Yeah, somebody said that they were thinking about putting Reach in there as well, and just throwing it and adding it in as a free update to the Master Chief Collection.
I thought it was at one point.
No, I think that it's backwards compatible.
Well, it is. They all are, I heard. Mike says they are.
Yeah, he plays them on his Xbox One.
But,
yeah, he doesn't own the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah. Well, I recently picked that up. I don't know if I said it on a podcast here, but I found it for like $20, cheapest I could find it, and
well, that's what you're going to pay for all of those titles used.
Yeah,
they added ODST.
Oh, that's what they added.
They added ODST, not Reach.
But
somebody said they were going to add in Reach as well, just to have the collection right there.
Reach wasn't bad, from what I remember.
Reach was amazing. I loved playing that one.
Yeah,
the story was great.
We played really a lot. That was when online multiplayer was kind of first really starting to hit us.
Yeah,
I remember you guys being at college. And, we played online a couple times.
We were always racing with the credit system to rank up to the next level. I remember doing that a lot. So, but I just think it's super cool that they're still in that game.
Yeah.
And putting so much focus on to the multiplayer aspect of it as well.
Right.
It must mean that the servers are probably never going to go down. So
I
that people
hope
can
not.
continue to play that game for a long time. But, online multiplayer really seems like the direction that everyone's trying to go into, right? So much so that Call of Duty, their recent game that they're working on, they have announced that they're not even going to have a single player in the game.
Well, actually, there's actually more to it than just that. Up to this point, they have been working on a campaign, but I guess they've hit some glass ceilings, we'll say, and they just decided that there's no way that this is going to be done, so they're just dropping it.
It's hilarious.
Like, the first thing I thought of, and shout out to Aaron, but the first thing I thought of was like, you mean there's campaigns on these games?
I know, right? Our good friend used to play Call of Duty Black Ops, like, religiously. And he was so obsessed with playing the multiplayer that, I mean, to this day, I doubt he ever even played the single-player campaign on that game.
Well, I think after he found out that they had them, I think he played one of them. It might have been Modern Warfare 3 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he never knew that there was a campaign.
Oh, yeah, he didn't play them for that. He was just strictly a multiplayer player. And so many of the COD players are. Right?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
I mean, that's what I turn it on for when I turn it on.
Exactly. You hop on Call of Duty to play some games with your friends.
Yep.
That's the number one priority. So, I mean, I would like to see... this one would probably not be one of the games that they would lower the price on because they probably already have so many sunk costs into it.
Yeah.
But, like, you see these online multiplayer games that are strictly multiplayer experiences that might be a little bit cheaper, right? Like...
Well, Fortnite's free.
Yeah, Fortnite's free.
That's not first person.
PUBG, I think, is only...
it's $30.
Yeah, it's a $30 game.
Yeah.
I mean,
because it's not finished.
Yeah, right. It's not finished. But Overwatch was $40 when it came out. If you got it on PC, if you got it on,
it's
console,
still $60.
It's $60.
It's still $60.
But if you bought it on PC, it was $40.
Yep.
Because they added some forced content into the console versions of that game that was completely irrelevant. It was just skins.
Yeah. It's all cosmetic.
Yeah.
Nothing matters.
Yeah, nothing in that matters. I can imagine that price will eventually go down for that.
It's always on sale. I've seen it on sale digital for $30.
But, like, if Call of Duty decided that they were going to add in something that is reminiscent to Fortnite or PUBG, then I'm sure that they'll have plenty of people who fell off the Call of Duty bandwagon because of those games jump back in.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because part of our other part of this is they're now talking about putting a Battle Royale mode, or Battle Royale, I guess is what they say, which is kind of like a big game. I don't know much about it, but it's very similar to PUBG and Fortnite. Mm-hmm. Like, they're kind of known for that Battle Royale game mode. Again, right. I don't know really the specifics of it.
I believe it has something, and this, I could be completely wrong on this, and if I am, please reach out to us on Twitter.
Yeah,
tell me that I'm wrong. But I'm fairly certain that this is a last man standing kind of game mode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's like there's two teams, and whoever's last man, you're
permadeath. Once you die, you're permadeath.
That's right. Yep.
And then you can just tune into other players, give some input on what they're doing or something.
Yeah, World of Tanks basically does that with tanks. So.
Yeah, I think you're permadeath once you die.
Yeah,
which is, I mean, sometimes it can make a game 3 minutes. It can make a game 40 minutes.
That's why I have downloaded Fortnite before, and I played one game. I'm like, yeah, I'm dead. I can't go good. Like, I'm not sitting here for hours.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how people get good.
Some people get so incredibly good because they've been playing since the beginning, and it's just makes it unplayable. It's like League of Legends,
right?
Like, I liked playing League of Legends a lot.
Oh yeah,
that game was a lot of fun.
I played it a little bit.
Yeah, but it's a time commitment. You have to sink a ton of time into that game. One match can go 45 minutes. One match.
I'll talk to you after the podcast about a game that's kind of like that.
Okay. But, yeah, so League was super fun. I really liked playing it, but the thing that kept me away from it was that their community was just not into helping new players learn.
Oh, yeah, they were just...
Right? They were just so negative. It's like, why are you feeding? I don't even know what feeding means. I mean, now I do, because my friends are pretty consistently in the game. But, like, when I started playing it, they're like, why are you intentionally feeding? I'm like, I'm going to go kill that guy. And they're like, no, you're gonna die. And I'm like, how am I gonna die? I'm gonna fight him. I'm gonna win.
Yeah, then help me figure it out. Like,
so yeah, but I had no idea, and then I'm being called nasty names and being reported for intentional feeds and all kinds of nonsense. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this toxic community anymore.
Intentional, whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was such a fun game.
Yep.
So I what are you gonna do? But yeah. If they add in a cool battle royal mode to try to draw in some Fortnite and PUBG players, I'm sure that it'll work.
This game's going to sell well. It ain't going to impact it at all. I don't think.
Yeah. Hey, does Fortnite have a mobile game? Is that true?
That is very true. Apparently, it runs pretty good.
Really? How do you... Is it not a shooter?
Yeah.
It's a shooter.
Yeah.
And it's on mobile.
iOS and Android.
What do they do? Did they do screen buttons like some emulators do or something?
I think so.
Really?
I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
There are some games out there that I'm not really sure how they play them on mobile. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, how do you play a first-person shooter on mobile?
Well, I don't know. And I don't know how you play a platformer on mobile either. But we're going to find out with this new Castlevania game coming to iOS that nobody's really that excited about.
Well, Castlevania is one of those types of games that was very exploration-based. But, like, I mean, I know how you play a platformer on mobile, right? Because, like, Super Mario Run is a platformer. It's an endless runner, but it's a platformer. Right?
True. I don't like the endless running. Really.
Yeah. But they have the Sonic games. They have the Rayman games that are on there. But, like, Castlevania is an exploration type of game. So, like, I don't understand how they're going to do that either. Right? Yeah. Like, it's very strange. Maybe you tap one side.
I mean, maybe it's not even going to be a platformer. I don't think we know much about this game.
That's true. That's true. Because I'm assuming that it's going to be a platformer, but not all of them are.
But yeah, if it's classic Castlevania, whatever it is.
If it's classic Castlevania.
Castlevania. I wanted to say Mania. If it's a classic Castlevania game, then, obviously it'll be a platformer. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know much.
They could even go the direction like Animal Crossing New Leaf, or not New Leaf. They could go the direction like Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, where you touch the screen and it goes the direction that you want to go, right? Because like Nintendo was very good at creating that title and not making it feel like there were a lot of buttons on the screen.
I forget who makes Castlevania, but
Capcom.
Okay, we'll see what this Castlevania game is. I'm not sure. I just know a lot of people are like, I want Castlevania, but not on my phone.
Yeah, right.
So,
like, dude, the success that Castlevania would have on the Switch, it would be absolutely insane. Right? Like,
on anything, really.
I've only ever played the one that was for the Game Boy Advance. I don't even remember what it was called. But I had a lot of fun playing it. I really liked it a lot, but I have no clue which one it was.
I have Symphony of the Night on Xbox One.
Yes, you mentioned that a couple weeks back.
Like, I haven't played it yet, but that's regarded as the best one. I'll start there. I don't know. Well, I did play the one on the Super NES Mini.
Okay.
Was it Super Castlevania?
Mm-hmm.
I did play a little bit of that. It's just too hard for me. But anyway, moving on to another, a game that I'm really excited for. And we've talked about previous times, and I believe you were excited for this as well, if I remember correctly. And that is Octopath Traveler.
You're actually incorrect. I believe it's Bud.
Oh, is it Bud?
Just as excited about this.
Okay.
I still have not played the demo for this.
You need to download it, man, because it's a great RPG. It's like 2D, but yet 3D.
I know. I'm familiar. Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with what it is.
Okay.
I just haven't.
So
I just haven't committed.
Seriously, go download that. It's still available. But anyway, we got introduced to, and obviously it was in an announcement at the same time, to two new travelers, that were revealed. And I don't even know how to say this name, but he's a hunter. Help me out here, because I have no idea what...
Honnet?
Honnet?
On it? maybe the H is silent?
Yeah.
Maybe?
So anyway,
H apostrophe AANIT.
There you
Please,
go.
let us know how to say it.
yes. Google Translate.
Yes.
But, so that's one of the characters. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough how to say it. And then there's Therion the Thief. And I don't know if I'm saying that one right, but at least it's kind of...
Therion seems like the right way to go.
Yeah, so, I love the demo, and you should download it.
Yeah, for sure. I really do want to... I do want to give it a try. It does look like something I would be interested in. I just haven't committed to it, because...
Yeah.
I haven't played very many video games, like, in the past...
No, I get you.
Couple weeks at all, with the traveling and
life is kind of crazy.
Yeah. Starting new jobs and stuff. It's just madness.
New jobs, new life adventures, I guess we'll say.
Right. Speaking of new life adventures, I might want to step into new life adventure and jump back on the PS4 bandwagon, because, like, my favorite superhero ever, Spider-Man, is getting a video game on it, and it looks like the best video game of all time forever. And I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind.
and rightfully so, because this game, the reveal gameplay from last year, I think it was at E3 or another gaming convention. It's like the 8-minute gameplay video. I've watched it I don't know how many times.
The hype is real.
I can't wait. Like, I love, the Batman Arkham series, and this looks like it basically, kind of controls like that. Obviously, Spider-Man's a totally different character.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this Spider-Man. Maybe I'll be able to play it over here at your house whenever you get it. It does look very Arkham-y. You're absolutely correct. And
it could be the best Spider-Man game we'll,
ever play. Yeah. Well, that's the fact that it's Arkham-y is very reminiscent to the character himself, right? Mm-hmm. Like, Spider-Man has the spider sense, right?
Yeah.
But Batman, he gets those triggers and he does the reversals and stuff, right? But that was a very gamey game mechanic. That doesn't always happen to Batman.
I think, just to maybe make myself understand it more, I think I just realized what it was. It wasn't so much of, like, a sense, like a spider sense.
Yeah.
It was more like, he's that good at fighting, he should be able to reverse, so this is your trigger to reverse it.
And I understand that. I understand that entirely. But yeah, it's probably just like that, but this will be so cool with the spider sense to do those combos and those moves, because it ties in so well to Spider-Man's character.
It'll be like, the first Spider-Man trilogy, and even the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Because time slows down.
Yeah.
And you'll be able to react to whatever's going on.
We didn't see too much of that at all in the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of him.
We didn't see any spider sense.
It seemed really off. There were some incidences in Captain America Civil War, though, that he had it. Right? Like, he caught the metal arm. He caught his metal arm. Right? And that was a very spider sense.
Oh, I'm sure he has it. We didn't see a scene where, like, time slowed down,
right?
Like we had in the past.
That was my big criticism with Homecoming, though. It was that he should have seen more of those hits coming, in my opinion.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, that was but still love that movie. Still
fabulous.
It's
great. It's great.
So, but yeah, super excited for this Spider-Man game.
This is probably the most anticipated game for me myself this year.
Yeah, I have to say probably the same thing. I wish I still had a PlayStation to get it. I could check out some streamers and watch them play it, and just make sure I see this game being played, because I really need to.
It's gonna look beautiful too.
It really is.
It already does.
So I'm definitely buying into this category. Yeah. So that's a good old segue into what are you buying? What are you selling?
What are you buying? What are you selling?
So our buying and selling segment this week's primarily going to be me.
Yeah, I don't have anything to contribute to this. I'm still playing Pokemon Crystal, and I actually am not playing Pokemon Go now that event's over. So.
Yeah, I haven't really played it too much. I'm out of Pokeballs, and I don't feel like buying them, and I haven't been to a Pokestop.
Yep.
and I only get like 3 from a Pokestop.
Go up to 4 churches, baby.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess I'll start off with selling, because I sold something to get something. And, well, more so, me and my wonderful fiance made the decision. We traded in Kirby.
Okay. Star Allies.
Yeah, Star Allies.
Star Allies, okay.
Obviously we beat it. We really thought about it too. We came to the conclusion that there's not much replayability.
I would have to say the same thing. I'm doing the challenge modes, and then I might just be
Yeah,
done with that game.
Right. So we just figured we try to get top dollar for our trade, because it's still relatively new. And they had a thing for one of the games that I'm buying. As many of you know, as gamers yourself, God of War came out on Friday.
The game looks hilarious. Just the whole concept of it is that he's doing the opposite of what he should be doing.
Yeah. So I have played a little bit of this game. What I was going to say about the trade as well, they were doing like 40% more trade value when you're trading towards God of War.
Right. They do that pretty consistently.
Yeah, it's a very common thing.
Yeah. Because they make all their money on used games.
Yeah. But we saw that and we're like, okay. So yeah, I played a little bit. I'm not going to like really review God of War at this time. Because hopefully Dax bought in and is going to play this. So like maybe we'll have like a little review segment at some point for this game. But yeah, so I'm a little bit into it, not too far. It's really awesome already to have the axe and throw it. And the first time I did it, because you can call it back with I changed it to R1, call the axe back, and I'm like, we need a Thor game.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So
a cool Thor game to tie in with that Spider-Man game.
So basically, this I could see this opening doors to a Thor game.
Okay.
So anyway, along with that purchase, this isn't so much for me, but for my fiance, she got a Nintendo 2DS XL.
Yes, those things are so cool.
And it is beautiful. I literally had to hold it up to my 3DS XL, because I swore to God that screen was bigger.
I think it is.
It is not.
It is not. Okay. I thought it was only maybe like an inch bigger.
It's
right?
not even a centimeter bigger.
That thing's so light. I held it before we started talking on the podcast here.
Yep.
And that thing is so light. And it's great though that they're still supporting the DS line, because there are still games coming out for it.
Oh yeah.
Right? And most of the stuff that's still coming out is being ported to the Switch, if the Switch is capable of doing it without the 2 screens. Like Sushi Strikers, The Way of Sushido. It's gonna win Game of the Year, baby.
Oh
Game
my
of
God.
the Year.
Yeah.
No, but it's super cool. Yeah, I would get, if I didn't have a perfectly working 3DS, I would get a 2DS as well.
Oh, definitely. So, if you follow me on social media or are in our Discord, you know that I've been working on Zelda: The Wind Waker, and I've loved it so much so far that I've decided to buy into more Zeldies.
Zeldies.
As Wood from Beat 'em Ups calls it. So, yeah, I bought Twilight Princess for the HD remake for the Wii U. So, I know that it's not held as highly as Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild or...
Yeah, several members, a lot of people in the Zelda community just call it Ocarina Light.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's...
It's not as hard, is that what they're meaning?
No, it tried so desperately to be Ocarina.
Okay.
Right? But it did well.
So maybe if I play it before I ever play Ocarina, like, maybe I'll like it more?
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
You might. You may end up liking it more than... More than... And that's the thing with me, too. Right? Because I didn't play that game until the HD remake came out.
Right.
So there was so much time between... the original Ocarina and the HD remake, that like there was time for me to dissipate and to not have the preconceived notions that people wanted from it.
Right.
So I did enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I did have a lot of fun with it. Hyrule is very big in it, and it's tons of exploration in it. So it was a nice little prequel to Breath of the Wild, which is probably why they did the HD remake the year before it came out or whatever.
Yeah, so I'm excited to work my way to that eventually.
Yeah,
I'm still loving Wind Waker. It's
one of my favorites. It's up there. Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda, by far.
So the point I'm at, like, blew my mind because I had to go into Hyrule and get the Master Sword. I'm there.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. For a game that's 15 years old.
Yeah. And I saw the twist. It's old. If this spoils it for you, I'm sorry. Whatever. I saw the twist of that pirate girl being Princess Zelda way before I ever even really started the game.
Well, they hint at it. They hint at it in the pirate ship when you go in. Right?
Okay.
There's pictures of old Hyrule in the ship.
Oh, yeah.
And there's pictures of...
Well, I made it into her cabin at one time.
Yes.
And I was like, oh.
She's Zelda.
Yeah. Like, I literally thought it was Zelda before I even... Like, I was looking at the case.
Oh, okay.
Like, before I even knew anything about it. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's such a fun game. I really love that one. The soundtrack is just so beautiful as well. Because, like, there's
Just
something to it when you're sailing.
Sailing on the ocean. I wasn't paying attention the other day, and it just went right into a twister.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it turns out it's the twister I needed to kill the dude.
Yep. To get the teleportation spell.
Yeah.
Or the teleportation song. Yeah. No, Wind Waker's so good. I love it so much.
Yeah, we could talk hours, I'm sure, about it. But
I hope my hope for those, and I'll buy into these. If they port those HD remakes to the Switch, maybe in a collection,
yeah,
right? Like they say, oh, here's the Zelda HD collection, right? Because they could.
Could you imagine if they do like all four? They take the remasters of the
Ocarina
3DS,
yeah, Ocarina and Majora's Mask, and then port them up to
Yeah.
HD quality and on the Switch. Man, that'd be crazy awesome.
yeah, do
That'd
like
be
a
one hell of
four, all four game collection.
Oh yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, I'd buy that in a second. I'd buy them individually if they
Oh,
ported
yeah.
them over. Because like I would love to replay Wind Waker. I might avoid Twilight Princess again. I don't think I need that one, but
Yeah.
I would definitely get Wind Waker.
I might, like, if they did all four, I'd probably buy Twilight Princess just to have all of them.
Yeah,
It would suck, but, like, I would.
yeah.
But,
Well, so we're talking about these Zeldas, right? So that's a good segue into our weekly top 5. You mentioned the two from the Nintendo 64 era, Zelda, Ocarina, and Majora's Mask.
that's true.
And let's dive right into our top 5 segment this week. We're going to do our top 5 favorite Nintendo 64 games.
And this has been a long time coming.
Right.
We've kind of held off. I'll take this moment right now. Our original plan was to have our good friend Dave from over at DGR.
Yeah.
Dave, if you're listening, I just want to take this moment, congratulate you on 100,000 subs.
Yes, right? Like, I hope that in some way that you hear our congratulations, man. It's so cool, right? Because we're hometown guys. I know that we may not have listeners that aren't from here or something, but we're hometown guys. I went to elementary school with Dave from DGR, right? Like, so I've known him my entire life, and I couldn't think of a better guy to get this outpouring of support.
Yeah, like I posted on Facebook today, and I think it was just Facebook. Like, he's literally one of the nicest people I've ever known.
Yep.
One of the most humble people I've ever known.
Yes, right?
And, I don't know how to say it. Honestly, we love you, Dave, and congratulations.
Yep. So, we're going to jump into our top 5 Nintendo 64 games, because we know that's one of your favorite consoles ever.
That is Dave's favorite console ever.
So, Mike Bundy, why don't you lead us on your number 5?
All right. Now, my experience with the N64 is not that big.
Oh, man. This was a hard list for me.
Yeah.
The Nintendo 64 is the console that turned me into a gamer.
Because I never really owned one, especially in the heyday. I never owned one. So my only experience was over at my cousin Ethan's house. They had one, And basically, they had they had several of my games here. So that's why they're all on my list. And starting out with number 5, I'm going to go with Star Wars Pod Racing.
Oh, Star Wars Pod Racing.
Now, this game, pod racing might be one of the best things to come out of the prequels.
Yeah.
I think.
I agree. That game was so much fun, right? Because,
great racing game.
It really was. The mechanics felt good.
Yep.
There was so much customization in that game.
I actually bought it on, it's a PS2 flashback on PS4.
Oh, really?
So I
think that the versions were a little different.
They were different. I noticed that when I turned it on.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that the one that was ported to PS2 was an updated, newer version of the same game, built on the same engine.
I think it had different track. It might even be a different game. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Now that
they're
I think
titled
about
the same.
Are they?
Yeah, they're titled the same.
Well, I don't know, but
that's we've mentioned that before on some of our Super Nintendo episodes and our Sega episodes.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Is it the Lion King game for Sega and
Aladdin's
Aladdin?
Different. Yeah.
Yeah, Aladdin.
Totally different game.
Yep.
Like we're not even talking just like visuals. We're talking gameplay. Like the Super Nintendo version doesn't have a sword. Anyway, this is a thing that we don't need to get into, but
right.
It's one of my favorite games of all time.
So anyway, Pod Racers.
Yeah.
I agree, man. Super fun game. I mean, I played it a lot.
Star Wars Episode 1 was the first Star Wars where I seen it on the big screen. Mm-hmm. My dad took us to a drive-in, and I'm going to go on a little tangent about this. My dad took us to a drive-in without a radio.
Ha! That's a good story.
Yeah. So, thanks, Dad. We had to park by the speakers at the concession stand.
Good times. Good times. Awesome. Well, so jumping into my number 5 game, I chose a title that is we mentioned briefly this character in your What Are You Buying, What Are You Selling? I chose Kirby 64, The Crystal Shards.
Yeah.
So to this day, this is the only Kirby game where you can have 2 different powers.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like you can stack them?
2 different copy abilities, yes. And they combine into really cool combinations. Like if you got the fire and the arrow, you started shooting fire arrows, right?
You're blowing my mind right now. Sorry to interrupt. Me and my brother were playing Gunstar Heroes.
Uh-huh.
And that's what you just reminded me of. Because, you get 2 power-ups and they combined and make a different power-up.
Yes.
I may have to go buy this game.
Oh, it's so fabulous, right? There's other cool stuff. Like if you get 2 fire abilities and stack them, instead of just doing the flaming fireball when you're running like you could do in Star Allies, you turned into a giant phoenix.
Oh, wow.
And shot yourself forward. Right? Like, it's such a cool game. The boss is super awesome. The entire experience is a really great platformer. They were really trying to show off what they could do with a 2D platformer in a 3D environment in that game.
That game's 3D?
That game is 3D by design, like the aesthetics of it.
But it's still
all
like
in
a 2D...
It's a 2D platform.
Okay.
With moving cameras to make it seem like it's 3D.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
It's a linear platformer.
Huh.
But there are camera angles that are, I want to say, like, above Kirby to a certain angle. Right? Like, it's not full above him, but it's full, it's tilted camera. But it's so cool. It's such an awesome game. I threw it at my number 5 because to this day I still love going back and playing it. So yeah, it's on my list.
Yeah, that sounds great. I need to play that.
Yes, for sure. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is a game that was really popular in arcades around this area. Yes, kids, arcades.
What's an arcade?
But
it's where people went to the mall and played video games, for folks who may not actually know that.
Yeah, so my experience with arcades, I always went to the Cruising USA games.
Okay. Yeah,
and
fun game.
When I found out at my cousin's house that you can play this on a home system.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Yep.
So Cruising USA is my number 4. I believe this is the one he had, because I think there's 2 or 3 for Nintendo 64. But Cruising USA, I believe, is the one that we always played. And I never understood picking the maps, like, because you could pick the USA and go, like, across the United States or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like a linear path across the USA.
Yeah, so I always pick that one because I'm like, I get the best of all worlds. But, yeah, this is a great game. Starting off with 2 racers on my game list, but they're definitely worth, checking out on the Nintendo 64.
Okay, cool. So, so my number 4 is a title. It's going to come as no surprise to folks that that Pokemon made its way onto my list. I chose Pokemon Snap. It's a total. I said this to a friend of mine today, actually, who had never played the game. I said it's a Pokemon game in name only.
Yeah.
Right? Because realistically, you're just taking pictures of Pokemon. You're not capturing them or battling them. You're just taking pictures of them. So it's a cool game because you're on this linear path, and you have a time limit. Basically, it's basically a time limit to take as many pictures of the Pokemon that are on the map as you possibly can. And there are a bunch of secrets that you can unlock. There are really cool Easter eggs that are reminiscent to like the lore of the Pokemon universe. Like you can bounce Magikarp into a waterfall and it turns into Gyarados, which is actually a cool Japanese lore fable type of thing, right? That's where that comes from. But like it's just so cool. Throughout the entire game, you get upgrades, and it culminates in just a super rewarding experience. There are 63 Pokemon that you can take pictures of, because I think they were going for 64 for the Nintendo 64.
Oh, wow.
But they had to cut one.
Did they?
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, God.
And why they had to. But there's a little Easter eggy story in that somewhere.
We're going to have to look that up, because I'm curious.
There are 63 Pokemon that you can take pictures of in the game, because they were going for 64 for Nintendo 64.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah. So it's a super fun game. I love it a lot. I still go back and play it from time to time, and I still think a lot of people should jump in and give it a whirl if they've never tried it.
It's on that wonderful thing we call a virtual console.
That the Switch doesn't have.
But
will.
But yeah, it's on Wii U. Virtual console. That's how I own it currently. And more on that later.
Okay. So, what's your number? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Pokemon, but not that Pokemon.
Okay.
It is Pokemon Stadium.
Oh.
And I'm gonna cheat and put Stadium 1 and 2 just as a collective unit. Mm-hmm. Because I can.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
But
and you know what? I'm gonna just jump ahead real quick and let you know that Pokemon Stadium is my number 3 as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I put Pokemon Stadium 2 because I like it more for reasons that we can dive into.
I mean, there's more Pokemon. I get it. Yeah. That's why I just clump it together, because they're basically the same thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have a lot of memories of this. I have memories of it much later in the N64 life. I mean, well after it was dead, actually.
Yeah.
My brother had it, so I'd play it down at his house with him. Mm-hmm. And then I actually got it, like, last year when I had a 64 for a brief moment. And we played a few matches on there, but my the one joystick on my system didn't work. So. Okay. Yeah. But you didn't need it for this game. That's the only game that
for the mini games, I think you did sometimes.
All right. Well, we didn't play the mini games, but it's awesome to battle that way. I know it's essentially just what Pokemon is now.
Yeah.
But back in the day, we can't explain to the younger people that didn't experience this at the moment. In that time of the release, like, we've only ever seen Pokemon like
2D sprites.
Yeah,
8-bit, 16-bit,
and only on Game Boy.
Yeah, only on Game Boy.
Even when Pokemon Snap came out, Like,
Well, that was after Stadium.
was it after Stadium?
Yeah, that was after Stadium.
Okay, I stand corrected on that one from what I was about to say. But, so, like, seeing these Pokemon in a 3D, obviously except for the anime,
Yeah.
we have to say that. But in a video game form, this is the first time seeing them in a 3D world. And, like, I can't explain to you guys how mind-blowing that is and was.
Yeah, right? And I have to add as well that I think part of the reason today that I know so much about Pokemon is because of Pokemon Stadium 2.
Yeah.
There was a library functionality in that game, right? It was like Earl's Pokemon Academy or something, I think it was what it was called.
Yeah.
And they taught you how to battle with the little nuanced things that happened in the game, right? So, like, when a Pokemon uses Minimize, if you use the move Stomp, it does twice as much damage. Yeah,
I
right?
didn't even know that to this day.
Yeah, well, that's how I learned that Thunder always hits in the rain. Yeah, Thunder always hits in the rain. And then you can hit a Pokemon that's using Fly with Thunder and it'll do double damage. Stuff like that I learned in Pokemon Stadium 2 that helped me inevitably beat the game, right?
Right.
To this day, I have nightmares thinking about the Team Rocket event in that game. Because when you're going through the gym battles, Team Rocket shows up at some point, I think, right around the same point they show up in Gold and Silver, where you do the Radio Tower event.
Okay.
They take over the Radio Tower in Stadium 2 as you're going through the gym battles, and you have to fight Team Rocket. Man, I had the worst time trying to fight them. I have no idea why it was so difficult as a kid for me, but it was just unreal how much I struggled at that Team Rocket event.
Do you remember what they had?
No.
No?
No. I know that it was the executives that I always lost on. Yeah. I don't remember why. I think it was just choosing bad Pokemon, realistically.
Yeah, probably.
But,
That's always
man, it
my
was just so
problem.
cool. Because once you beat the Elite Four on that game, just like in Gold and Silver, you got to fight the original 8 gyms and then go fight Red. Like, it was so cool. And that's why I love Stadium 2 more than the original Stadium.
Yeah, see, I don't think I ever...
Fun.
I don't think I ever got that far into that game.
Okay.
I really only played the 2-player part of it.
Yeah,
like,
the free battle stuff that you can do. Yeah. No, it had a really great interaction on all levels. And it had the speedy player, too, on the... like, you could speed up the gameplay on your Game Boy games when you put them in the back of the cartridge.
Oh.
If you beat the Elite Four and everything, it gave you the Doduo player, which you could play at double speed.
Wow.
And then you could play at triple speed with the Dodrio player in the Game Boy Tower.
Huh.
Yeah, so, like, you could just power through your game on the Game Boy and then transport your Pokemon into Pokemon Stadium. It was so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
The things that I didn't experience back in the day.
Yeah. So, moving on now. You know, Pokemon is super near and dear to my heart, but what's your number 2 game?
My number 2 is one that we already talked about, and that is Pokemon Snap. Mm-hmm. I first experienced this game going to our good friend Owen's house. A lot of those early video game days were spent at his house, and like, this was so fun. Like, I don't even know what more to say about it that people don't know, but it's a great experience. Like Shill said, it's a Pokemon game only in name. Go buy it on Virtual Console if you have a Wii U. If not,
it's on the Wii too. It's on the original Wii, and everybody has an original Wii somewhere in their lives.
Well, they just shut down they just shut down the shop. You can't buy
they're
crap.
not letting you buy anything from the shop anymore. That's crazy.
You can't put more points on the shop.
Oh, okay.
So if you have points currently, you can still use them.
Okay.
But you can't buy more points to buy more things.
Oh, wow.
So it's on its last limb.
Yeah, for sure.
So
wow.
Let's go with your number 2.
All right. So my number 2 is a Zelda title, but it is not the Zelda title that everyone would expect it to be. Ocarina is great for what it is. It is a truly amazing Zelda title. It's one of the best, right? It's a perfect place for people to come into Zelda and experience what that game is, and what Zelda is in itself.
Yeah.
But I love Zelda Majora's Mask way more than I like Ocarina. And that's why I've thrown it in my number 2 spot. So, they have the time cycle in there. The 3 days you have to complete everything.
Yeah.
And then if you don't, it's game over, right? So it's basically a game where you play it once and you lose and then you play it again. No, not really. It's you have a time travel mechanic. So at the end of the 3rd day, you go back to the first, and all of the same events repeat almost exactly.
So you just have to do them again?
In a way.
Okay.
But you can avoid, right? Like, so if you're on the first temple, you focus entirely on the stuff at the first temple.
Yeah.
And that's all you have to do.
Okay.
So then you move on to the second temple, and you just focus on the second temple. You don't have to do all the stuff from the first temple, too. Right?
So if you run out of time on the second temple, you just go back to the second temple?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and you have to restart the events entirely. Now, there are ways for you to maximize the amount of time that you get in the temple, right? Because there's a bunch of events that have to take place before you can get to the temple. And then by the time you finish those, it's probably maybe the 2nd or 3rd day, and some of the events you have to do on the 2nd day to get into the temple. But once you have the temple unlocked, you can go back in time and then teleport directly to the temple and go in and do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can slow down time too, right? You can play the Song of Time backwards, and it slows down time, so you've got twice as much time almost to complete the temple. So it's not super restrictive.
Yeah.
So like, you have to get this done. You have to get this. It doesn't feel like you're in a time crunch the whole time.
Okay.
It creates a pseudo time crunch because it's like, oh man, I've got the whole 3rd day left, but I'm almost done with the temple. Right? Like, I'm on the boss.
Yeah.
But I've got the whole 3rd day left. So it's a pseudo time crunch, and I love it because it's all side quests. The whole game is side quests.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this person is sad. What do we need to do to remedy that situation for them? Oh, and they'll give you a mask once you remedy that situation. The masks all have different functionalities. They all, and some masks you need to get other masks. It's just such a cool game because there are so many little quirks that you can add to your character, and so many little side quests that you don't see this element unless you have this mask or something to that extent. And it's just a classic, and a lot of people didn't think that it was as good as it was when it had originally come out, and that's why the 3DS remaster did so well, because people were like, wow, I don't remember this game being this good.
Yeah.
And like, there was a lot of buzz, and people jumped in and fell in love with it.
Do you think it has anything to do with like the accessibility of the internet? Like, was it too hard for people to understand what to do?
No, because you had this thing in the game called the Bomber's Notebook.
Okay.
And it kept track of what you did with each character and where they were, what they were doing at each specific time.
Okay.
So it wasn't like super
overwhelming.
Overwhelming, difficult for people to figure out where they needed to be to get this particular element. No, I don't believe so. There were people I knew that I never got all the masks when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't complete that task until I was an adult. But there were people I knew as kids that got every single mask.
Yeah, I'm sure Owen did.
Yeah, every single mask.
Yeah.
So it wasn't an overly difficult game. But history is going to be much nicer to it now that it has been remastered on the 3DS.
I've heard it's much darker.
It is. It is a very dark game.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a point where there's this love story in it, and they basically mourn for one another as they're getting ready to die when the moon hits the town. They're going to stay there together and die together so that they can embrace one another entirely in their love.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a very heavy storyline, but it's such a good game. It's such a good game, and that's why I threw it in my number 2. So
someday I'll get there. I'm working my way.
Yeah, you'll get there. I know you will. So
and they're held as the best. And they're held as the best. So like, that's kind of why I'm going to play them last.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Ocarina. Well, you don't have to play Ocarina to play Majora.
Yeah.
There's one little cutscene at the beginning of Majora's that throws back to Ocarina, but it's just so that you can learn the Song of Time.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's like, hey, thanks for helping us in Hyrule. Here's the Ocarina of Time, and here's the Song of Time. See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like a flashback. So that's it.
Yeah.
So, but moment of truth. What is
Moment
your
of truth.
number one title for the N64? And I think I know what direction you're going in.
Yeah, I mean, this should be no shocker as anybody that's a fan of the N64. This is probably the most popular and most talked about and still played game of that system, and that is Super Mario 64. This game is still hard as balls to play.
Well, it's because of the camera angles. It's because of the
camera.
Yeah, it's because of the camera angles, the way Mario jumps sometimes.
Like, I mean, back in the day, though, even, like, I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. And I still can't do it to this day. But, I still love it. Another shout out to Dave. I still love, the random times he still pops this in every once in a while.
Yeah, he speedruns it.
Yeah. He's been focusing on like Odyssey and Mario Maker here and there, but this is where he kind of originated, and he really made me love the game more, and just to watch it and like be like, oh, can he speed run it and whatnot? But
6 stars in every world, right? I think that's it. I think it's 6 stars in every world.
For what?
For 64.
Oh, you mean just in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I believe it's 6.
That sounds right. My favorite level on this might actually be the snow level, where you race the penguin.
Oh, I hate that one.
I love that one.
That one, I just get so tilted every single time.
I love racing the penguin.
You can skip half the track.
Yeah.
You can just fall right off on the certain spot and skip half the track.
That's part of Dave's speedrun.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, you fall off the track and go down to the bottom level. My favorite level from that game is probably the clock level. Man, and I still love playing on Mario Kart Deluxe. I still love playing Tick-Tock Clock because it's a nod to the 64 level.
I don't remember that level.
Really? You jumped into the clock and it was all the
I probably never got that far. Like, I'm literally stuck. I have no idea what to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it was such a good level. I loved playing it. Man, and then I really like the one cloud level where you rode on a cloud. It was an auto-moving platform or something. I really like that one. Fire shot at you, and it was right at the end. It was right before you went into the final Bowser world.
I have
there
no
were like
idea.
2 or 3 different worlds.
Probably never seen it.
You could skip them and go directly to the Bowser world as well if you had enough stars.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you can skip into Bowser with 16 stars.
Well, yeah, that's a speedrun tactic. I never did it.
The BLJs. Back long jumps. Backwards long jumps or whatever.
Backward long jumps. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just jump up the stairs backwards. Mm-hmm. Anyway, moment of truth. You're number 1.
So, I mentioned several times.
I haven't been salty yet, so this is apparently where it's coming.
Yeah. So,
And I knew where it's going, actually.
So, I mentioned to Mike Bundy before we started the podcast when we were discussing what top 5 to do, that if we were doing Nintendo 64, I was gonna throw salt all over him. And, man, I gotta tell you, my number 1 for the Nintendo 64 is a game that is near and dear to my heart. It is probably my favorite 3D platformer of all time. It is probably the greatest 3D platformer of all time. It is Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie is the greatest Nintendo 64 game.
Nope, I'm out.
It is superior to Mario 64 because it was made after Mario 64. It had all of the ideas and all of the shortcomings that 64 had improved upon. And then Rare went on to create Donkey Kong 64, which I know is one of Dax's favorite games for the N64. But
and this is just a short preview into a new segment that will debut one of these days, and it's going to be a 3-way triple threat
gauntlet.
gauntlet match.
the Tavern Throwdown. But no, I love Banjo-Kazooie because the worlds are so bright and colorful. There's so much emphasis on... I mean, the names of the characters are Banjo-Kazooie, right? And Banjo and a kazoo. And there's so much emphasis put on to music through all of these different worlds. I mean, you collect music notes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it seems like they took this idea that they had of taking a work of art and turning it into a video game. And to the point where you collect puzzle pieces and complete pictures. Right? That's the goal of the game. And then once you have that picture that's completed, the world unlocks and you go in. But there's so many different cool elements to this where you transform into different characters, right? Like there's a termite in the first world. You can turn into a bumblebee in one of the later worlds. And they only added more to it with Banjo-Tooie, which is just such a deep 3D platformer. But I felt like that one didn't go overboard like Donkey Kong 64 did, right? Because you can play as all, what is it, four or five different characters on 64. The different monkeys, Funky Kong, Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong. The girl is
Daisy Kong?
Daisy Kong, yeah. So you can play as all those different characters, but there are like 100 bananas to collect in each world with those specific characters. So that's like 400 bananas that you have to collect or whatever, right? I felt like maybe it's 50. It might be 50.
No, I've heard it's a crazy amount.
Too much stuff, and Banjo's right in that sweet spot. You know, I felt like Mario could end up being short. Banjo has the original Banjo. I think has 10 worlds. With 10 puzzle pieces in each world and 100 notes in each world. I mean, I felt like it, and the overworld had puzzle pieces that you could collect as well. There were 10 of those, one from each world that you could unlock inside the world somewhere. It was just such a great game and is one of my all-time favorites. That's why I've thrown it at the top of my list, and that's why I'm throwing down the gauntlet to you and Bud to change my mind and make me decide that Mario 64 or Donkey Kong 64 is better. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I can't wait for that segment to debut one of these weeks. We don't know when yet, but...
It's still an idea in our heads, and we're still fleshing out how it's going to work entirely.
Yeah. I don't know how we're going to really have a deciding factor. It probably won't be resolved. But,
it probably won't. It'll just be a conflict for the sake of conflict.
It'll just be a debate that goes nowhere, but we'll see.
Like most debates.
Yeah, right. Right.
Well...
You ever seen a presidential debate? It goes nowhere.
Right? And then the country does something crazy and, elects whoever they elect. It's absolutely nuts. So,
yeah. Well,
but whatever.
Yep.
That's besides the point. We don't get political on this show.
That's right.
Well, but what we do get on this show is incredibly grateful. We are so happy that you have tuned in and joined us on our episode of Geek Tavern Radio. It's amazing to have your support. We love you so much for hitting that download button. We are incredibly thrilled to take this journey with you every single week. So, if you have not joined our Discord, hop into that. We have conversations with folks every single day. It's awesome to see what everybody's playing or what their opinions are. Hop into that Discord. The link will be in the show notes. It's a permanent link on our Twitter as well, which is @Geek Tavern. You can follow us there. Have conversations with us all. We do awesome retweets of great stuff. We're all connected to that account. Mike Bundy, where can they find you individually?
They can find me on Twitter @MikeBundy316 and on Instagram @MikeBundy316. And Shill, where can they find you?
I am on Twitter @Shill_DS. You can follow me there, have a conversation. As I said, I'm in that Discord, and we are all linked to the Geek Tavern account as well, which is just @Geek Tavern. So, join the Discord. Tell your friends about the podcast. Together we can have some great fun. We can play games together. We can have great conversations about your top fives. We want to hear what your favorite Nintendo 64 titles are. So jump in that Discord and let us know.
Yep.
So, with that, press start and keep on gaming.